don't even have in Nigeria. For instance, in the US alone, do you know that it is approximated, and this is based on the National Center for Charitable Statistics. We don't have such bodies here in Nigeria. But in reality, you find that there, as at 2012 alone, or 2009, the total amount that was estimated about in terms of contributions from individuals to charitable organizations amounted to about $316.23 billion in just 1 year alone. Now, in Nigeria, and it constitutes, and then the GDP of those, the gross domestic product of that sector alone in the US was estimated at about 5.5% of their economy as at 2012. Now, so you find that when you really look at it here, we're sitting on a gold mine that can serve as a catalyst and for development in Nigeria. I'm saying that, look, let's stop the hypocrisy. Let's change our laws. Let's give these entities the powers to do any business they want to do. Which they can do. They can provide effectively, they can provide effectively jobs, they can provide effectively, they are the ones who are most viable by reason of their excess liquidity to be able to invest in any sector of the economy, create jobs for Nigerians, create all sorts of social amenities for Nigerians, which they are already doing in any case. So, but to say that you allow a situation where they remain exempted, and then that leads for situations where people are building private empires, excess liquidity is there that is not reaching the economy, and that is not impacting Nigerians.
No, I want to disagree with you that the excess liquidity...
Just a point I wanted to bring in here. Some of these religious organizations you're talking about have offices, they have staff that they pay salaries.
Exactly.
And those staff pay taxes. Yes. Remember that the revenue they generate is from their congregations.
Exactly.
And that revenue is already taxed as individuals. Each of those members...
From the point of view of the individual.
From the point of view of the organization. And then they take out of that revenue to pay their staff as workers in their organizations, offices, and mosques. Yeah. And those individuals still pay tax.
They must pay. If they
so you're still
salaries,
saying they should still...
What I'm saying is that from the bulk, I'm drawing my own attention to the fact that, look, if there is a large chunk of donation, excess liquidity that constitutes donations, right, that is going to the religious organizations, and this is being exempted from taxation.
Argument is based on the assumption that all church activities are geared towards profit making, are geared towards business. No,
that's not what I'm saying.
And I want to disagree with you that that is not the essence. Yeah, and I want to disagree with that is not the essence and all that. And when you look at most of the churches, especially the ones that you can be considered boya, you can count them on the fingertips. Maybe with solitude, they redeem this and that and other. There are 1,000 and other religious organizations that are struggling for survival. So by the time you now go into the National Assembly and then you begin to make a law that tend to generalize and assume that all churches and mosques in Nigeria are viable and have excess liquidity in their covers and all that they have to be taken away from them, I think you'll be getting the argument wrong. And moreover, like we say, what is the essence of taxes and levies and all that? It's basically to provide infrastructure. And if you look at most of these churches, especially the good ones among them, you will find that they're already doing a lot of activities in that area. I'll give you an example. Most of them now build universities and they're running them very well. Some of these activities, which even government all over the country, which even state and federal government have failed to do properly. You also find some of them have hospital. The first schools in my own village and the hospital that we do have in there are built by all these religious organizations.
That's why that brings me to the point I'm saying that if we have to, Nigeria and government can no longer close its eyes to the fact that this informal sector is in reality one of the most viable sectors in Nigeria. There is no other sector of the economy. Hold on, please. There is no other sector of the economy.
Church activities is strictly geared towards profit making and business.
We're not talking about church. We're talking of religious organizations, whether they are churches, mosques, or whatever. But what I'm saying is that there's a point we cannot shy away from, and that's the fact that there is no other sector of the economy, not even in the formal sectors, that you will find that Nigerians are actively participating in it. For instance, in the telecom sector, hold on. What is the percent? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Kolawole.
The woman that is selling bread, the woman that is selling pure water, the woman that is selling shoes and clothes in Oshodi, they all belong to the informal sector. Most of them don't pay taxes to government.
Hold on.
So
That is the reason why I'm saying that
if you say you want to bring all those people who are very active in the formal sector into the mainstream of the Nigerian economy,
do you agree with me that we are all generating GNI or GDP? So if we are all generating GNI, but we all also interface more effectively with our regulatory organizations than we even interface with even our political constituents or whatever, then all the more reason why whatever is that percentage we are giving to these organizations, and those organizations rely on them as revenue and income that they can deploy, then it is important that these organizations be made as it is now the standard all over the world.
Those revenues for? What are they deploying the revenues for?
Now, that will be the point. Question. You see, if we look at what's happening here in Nigeria right now, let's face the reality. Although I said I don't want to go into somewhere I would be critical
but will it be proper?
But let me state, I have to, no, stop using the word churches. I am not saying that
for the purpose of taxation.
No,
when the formal sector
I am saying that all religious and non-profit organizations,
basically those who pay their taxes regularly and basically the civil servants, maybe the politicians and then people who worked in corporate organizations like the banks, media houses and all that.
My point
the rest of the formal sector of the economy is so large, you can even discuss about almost 70% of the Nigerian economy.
My point is that if we really want to do this, because there are no data, I can tell you that in this country,
when the other sectors of the economy have not been brought into the picture.
The average Nigerian you're speaking about does not invest or does not have time to put part of his GNP in various sectors of the economy. Most of those sectors, are so-called formal sectors, are not even truly functional. Hold on, sir. Let me land.
The bank have a way of deploying those things.
Let me even tell you, do you know that some of these religious organizations were there to pull their funds out of some of these financial institutions you talk about, like banks? I can tell you instantly we have a major crisis in the financial sector because of the liquidity these people control. And what I'm trying to tell you is that this liquidity should be made available to the Nigerian economy. There's no reason. Look, we must render to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to the Lord what is the Lord's.
It's not through taxation alone that you can make the liquidity available to the bank.
What we are
For example,
saying
government
is
can formulate policies and all that in such a manner that this liquidity that you describe can be channeled to the different sides of the economy. For example, I do know that agriculture suffers a lot now. Nobody is doing meaningful financing of agriculture. I do know that the maritime sector itself is also.
But do you know my argument is that this? Do you know that my argument is that this
housing is also.
I am saying that these religious organizations are even more poised.
You and I cannot walk into a mortgage company and then
thank you very much. Now I am saying my argument is that these religious organizations are even more poised and better positioned by reason of the excess liquidity to be able to invest in all these various sectors and serve as a catalyst for social development and economic development.
But are they not investing there?
But when you continue to say that
they're not investing on their own?
Right now we have an anomalous. Let me tell you. Right now we have an anomalous situation. No, they're doing
most of them are viable publishing companies.
Let me tell you.
Most of them are running good schools now. They run transport companies.
Most of them are doing it illegally. Let me tell you. Most of them are doing it illegally under the guise.
Illegally?
Hold on, in the sense that illegally, most of them are running businesses under the guise of the fact that they are doing these things under the advancement of their religious organization. But the state is not receiving any real benefit from them.
I am aware most of them in corporate companies. Some of the churches that I know, own property company have limited liability company under which they do business. And those businesses cannot be run without you paying taxes.
What I am saying is that let us stop the farce. Let's recognize, let's give these religious entities the right to be able to engage in any business.
I would rather put the question that let us formalize the informal sector of the Nigerian economy.
That is
so that everybody can be captured within.
Exactly, including the religious organizations. Allow them to be able to go into any business it is they want to do. Allow them to have the obligation, just like any corporate citizen, to be able to meet their own responsibility towards the state in terms of their obligations.
If I may stop you, the Corporate Affairs Commission registers the religious organizations, the non-governmental organizations, registers them as incorporated trustees.
Yes.
In other words, whatever they are doing is for the citizenry. It is not for profit.
That is the idea. But what you find in Nigeria today is that the majority of these organizations, really, I mean, someone sets up, it's because of this exemption issue that today it has become so viable that every nook and cranny you will find religious organizations cropping up. Now, because, somebody sets up an organization and all of a sudden, within a few years, its economy changes. Now, what we're trying to say is that, look, if this is a viable sector,
That is an assumption.
I mean,
I'm repeating.
look. A sector is viable when there is participation in that sector. You don't need FDI.
There are 1,001 other ones that are not.
I'm trying to tell you that we don't need FDI for the religious sector in Nigeria. It is one of the best comparative advantages Nigeria has.
Let's do something at this point in time. We're not just talking about Islam, that's the mosque.
Yes, all religious organizations.
The churches.
Yes, don't limit it.
We're also talking about the herbalists,
whatever
the traditional religious practitioners.